I'm going to be predicting every single fight on UFC 329 that's taking place today in just a few hours. This video was supposed to come out yesterday, but I was very hungover and I did not do the video, so now here we are. And I'm not confident in a lot of these picks, so I'm just going to start off the video by saying don't tail these. This is one of my most 50-50 cards of probably the year. But starting with one of my more confident picks of the card, Alessandro Costa versus Cody Durden. I think Costa's going to win this fight. The only reason I'm not super confident is because Durden is coming off of a pretty big upset against Philo. I really didn't see him winning that fight at all, but he looked great in that fight. So, who knows? Maybe he is a bit better than we thought, or I thought, but I think Costa's going to get it done. I think he's longer. I think he's a better striker. Yeah, I think he's going to piece him up and get the win by knockout or decision. Moving on to the next fight, Ryan Gandra versus Zachary Reese. I've been a Reese defender for so long, and I don't even know why he's not good. He just keeps proving that he's not good. Gandra is coming off his debut. He looked decent, and I think he's going to get another easy KO here in the first 2 rounds. I don't see Zachary Reese really winning this one. I'm going to say this is probably a high confidence pick for Gandra and probably a medium confidence pick for Costa. Moving on to Basharat. Now, this fight was supposed to be against Ethan Ewing, which would have been fucking awesome. But now we have this new kid coming in, making his short notice debut on International Fight Week against an undefeated fighter, which is exactly what Ethan Ewing did last year when he got the upset win against Malcolm Wellmaker. So we could see a similar situation, but I think Basharat's going to beat him up, get a decision, maybe finish him. I don't really know. I just think Basharat's going to win this fight. I haven't watched too much tape on the other kid. So this guy might come in and be really good, beat Basharat, and become a huge, big name, new prospect, but I don't think that's going to happen. I got Basharat remaining undefeated, and then hopefully they just reschedule that Ethan Ewing fight, because that would have been a fun fight. Moving on, this is my GOAT. I wrote there that he TKO'd Pinas. That is wrong. He is Pinas. But he knocked out Wes Schultz, I think, in his debut. And literally every time he would land a punch, Wes Schultz would just fall to the ground. He would get launched. So, Pinas is powerful. He's explosive. He's long. And I think he's going to get this one done by knockout. Cesar Almeida is also very, very good. He trains with Pereira. He's really good on the feet. The only reason he lost his last fight was he got out-grappled very heavily by Oleksiejczuk. And I don't see Pinas grappling in this fight, but I do see Pinas going out early and knocking out Cesar Almeida in the first round. Almeida got dropped by Abdul Rak Al-Hassan or something like that. But yeah, they fought. He got dropped really early in that fight, came back and got a knockout. It was one of the craziest knockouts of last year. It was one of my favorite knockouts of the year. And yeah, so he could weather an early storm and come back, but I got Pinas by KO early on. All my boys love Pinas, All the homies love Pinas. Okay, this fight, we got Wang Kong, back-to-back dick jokes. You already know what's up. But this is probably my most 50-50 fight of the night, other than, the main event or some of the main fights. But I really want to pick Tracy Cortez here. I think she's going to out-grapple Wang Kong, and even on the feet. I think she's definitely going to lose on the feet. She's going to get pieced up on the feet, but I could see her taking Wang Kong down and doing some damage and actually doing something on the ground. In her last fight, in Kong's last fight, she got taken down by Mora a lot, but she showed great grappling defense and was able to get back up and not get submitted. She almost got a submission of her own in the 3rd round. So, I don't know. Maybe she could win this. I could see her piecing up Tracy. But Tracy Cortez only has 2 losses in the UFC, and it's to Erin Blanchfield and Rose Namajunas, those are not bad losses at all. So this might be a bad pick, but I'm going to take Tracy Cortez by decision with the grappling. but but I really don't know. That's a low confidence pick, probably the most low confidence pick of the entire card. This one, back to high confidence. I got fucking Luke Riley, mate. Fucking Luke Riley. He's gonna fucking chin Kai Kamaka the third in the first 2 rounds. I think a round 1 KO incoming. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Luke Riley's a lot better than this kid. And yeah, early knockout incoming for Luke Riley. Another knockout incoming on this fight. Cody Garbrandt is probably getting knocked out by Adrian Yanez. Yanez looked great in his last fight. I don't know how that was a draw. He won the first 2 rounds and then got a 10-8 and dropped Ricky Simón in the third. Or maybe he lost the first, but it was 1-1 going into the third, and then he definitely won the third. He got a knockdown. He got a 10-8, and then somehow it was a draw. So he definitely got robbed in that last fight, but he's not going to get robbed in this fight. I think he's going to knock out Cody Garbrandt. In the late rounds, like round 2 or 3, I think he'll knock him out. Maybe a decision. But he looked really good. If he does to Ricky Simón, or if he does to Cody Garbrandt what he did to Ricky Simón, Garbrandt's going out cold in that third round. So I got Yanez by KO. Moving on to we're not even on the main card yet, but Gable Stevenson making his debut. Now, one of my friends is very excited for this. I'm also very excited for this. I think he's going to win by round 1 TKO. I think he's going to take down Ellison pretty early on, pretty easily, and Alicia Ellison won't get back up. I am a little worried for this fight. I do think, obviously, Gable shouldn't be that big of a favorite. He's, like, the biggest favorite in UFC history. And Ellison's only loss in the UFC is to Brando Pericic, who's ranked. So that's not a bad, or I guess that's his only fight, but, like, that's not a bad loss at all. So he could come in and get a huge upset tonight. But I think Gable Stevenson will just easily dominate him and get a big matchup. I don't know if he'll be ranked, anything like that. I think he will have like a decently similar career to Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's only loss is to somebody ranked, and I feel like heavyweight's easier. So maybe Gable could be ranked, but I doubt he'll be a top contender anytime soon. Moving on to a sick fight. Robert Whittaker is getting a KO. He is so back. When he first announced that he was moving to light heavyweight, I was not excited about this fight. I was really scared. Or not about the fight, just his move to light heavyweight. Like, Paulo Costa makes sense. RDR makes sense. Those people moving up make sense to me, but Whittaker I feel like was too small. And he's addressed this, he's talked about people saying that he's too small. He disagrees, obviously. But this is one of the fights I wanted him to get for his light heavyweight debut. I was hoping he would get Krylov, Dominic Reyes, even Ankalaev. After the Pereira fight, I was kind of seeing as an easy fight for Whittaker, but this is a good best option. I think Whittaker will get an early KO with that crafty 1-2 head kick, and I think I don't know. I think Krylov's chinny. His fight against Bukauskas, he surprised me, so he could surprise me here. He could be a lot bigger than Whittaker and end up sliming him out in the later rounds. But I think Krylov's a little too chinny early on, and Whittaker's too goated early on, and he's just going to go forward, 1-2 head kick, and we're going to get some OG Bobby Knuckles back in action. It's going to be awesome, and then he's probably going to lose his next fight at light heavyweight. Okay, this is another sick fight. I can't wait for this. I always love it when Terrence McKinney fights, but it is scary. It is a very 50-50. He's a very 50-50 fighter. It's either he's getting knocked out or he's knocking someone out in the first minute of the fight. And Bobby Green's been looking really good lately. I think he's on a 3-fight win streak right now, or 4-fight win streak right now, and he's just been dominating everyone. But I don't know if his chin can hold up against McKinney in the first minute. I know this fight is ending in round 1, first minute, guaranteed. One of them will get knocked out, or maybe even submitted, but I think it's going to be a knockout. Oh, and I want to switch to Terrence McKinney. I've been riding Bobby. Whoa, that's crazy. I've been choosing Bobby Green since this fight was announced, but I really want to switch to McKinney here. But I think it might be a bad idea. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Bobby Green. I'm gonna take Bobby Green by first round KO. And if Terrence McKinney gets it done, then I'm okay with that. I love McKinney. I want him to win. I hope he wins and starts getting big fights, but he's just too 50-50. He's too much of a glass cannon. I don't know. I can't trust him to win this, especially with how good Bobby Green's been looking. But he's also pretty chinny, and I think we could see McKinney KO him in the first. But I got King Green, round 1 KO. Another round 1 KO. I got Loner Kavanaugh. That's my guy. I've been watching him since the Contender Series, and he looked fantastic on the Contender Series. And his last fight, he looked great. And his only loss is because he had his fucking hands down against Charles Johnson after dominating the entire fight. And he got caught, which is scary because Royval has like the same length and body type as Charles Johnson. He's just a lot better. So we could see Royval get it done. He also had the fight of the year last year during International Fight Week with Joshua Van. So this could be another banger. I just think with Royval coming off that round 1 KO loss to Manel Kape, I could see Kavanaugh catching him again here. I also think the small cage had something to do with Royval getting KO'd. I'm not saying he would have survived Kape and he would have beat Kape or whatever, but if you watch the Royval fight, every time he gets rocked, it looks that bad, like his legs just give out and he folds. But if he was not against the cage there, I feel like he could have survived a little bit longer, but he probably would have got knocked out like the next punch as soon as they got back to their feet anyways. But I think the only reason Kape got him out that fast was because it was against the cage and Kape like pounced on him and chinned him. But yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. I'm not coping or anything. I had Kape by knockout. I thought he was gonna win. Even if Royval survived that, he would have lost anyways. But I think he's gonna lose this one. I think the bigger cage will help out Royval here. But I got Kavanaugh by KO early. And if it does go late, I still got Kavanaugh by knockout or decision later on. But I love Royval. I want to see him move up to bantamweight and fight the loser of this because it would be awesome. This is another one that I really don't know who to pick. Since this fight got announced, I was hoping it would be a 5-round like main event fight, and I was picking Corey the whole time. But then recently, the past few weeks, I've been switching towards Bautista by decision because it is only 3 rounds, and I could easily see Bautista winning 2 rounds against Corey Sandhagen. I don't think he dominates him. I don't think he finishes him. But I could see him winning the first and second, maybe the first and third. Like, I don't know. I could see him winning the first round, and then maybe Corey bounces back. I got it 29-28 for Mario Bautista. I think the grappling, he's better. I think the striking, he could hang with Corey. I think Corey's the better like technical striker. But we might see Mario outbox Corey here and just out-grapple him, clinch him up against the fence, take him down. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty boring... Yeah, it's probably going to be a pretty boring fight. I got Bautista by decision, but I really want Corey to win, and I think Corey can do it. I didn't realize he was the favorite until like this week, which I thought was strange, actually. I kind of thought Bautista would have been the favorite, but... It makes me happier. I'm happy Corey's the favorite. I hope he wins. But I think Mario Bautista's going to get it done. I got the underdog. Another underdog. I'm going 2 in a row. I'm picking Paddy Pimblett in this fight. Benoit's scary. Benoit is very scary, and he's been looking really good lately. But he's been fighting people who can't really grapple. And the last time he fought like an actual grappler, I might be wrong. The last time he fought an actual grappler was Moicano. And Moicano dominated him. And Paddy, yeah, he's coming off of the loss to Gaethje, which looked pretty bad in that fight. But in hindsight, he did better against Gaethje than Ilya did. He wasn't as close to finishing him. Ilya had like a closer moment in round 2. He almost finished him. But he also didn't even make it to the 5th like Paddy did. So I'd say Paddy did a little bit better. I don't know. Paddy lasted longer against Gaethje. That's all that matters. And his only loss being to Gaethje is not a bad loss at all. That's the current champion. Benoit's loss to Moicano has not aged well at all. And I just think Paddy's the better grappler. I think even on the feet, Benoit's a little slow. I think Patty might have a reach advantage. I think he's longer. Benoit is more powerful. We could see him getting landing big shots, but if none of those huge uppercuts were knocking out Patty, if he was able to keep getting up for 5 rounds against Gaethje's uppercuts after getting dropped, I think he'll be able to get up for 3 rounds against Benoit. And I got Patty by decision. Yeah, 3 rounds I got Patty by decision. Maybe a TKO on the ground with ground and pound like Moicano got him. If Patty mounts Benoit, I think it's over for Benoit. But if it stays on the feet, it'll be a closer fight. But I still think I'll take Patty by decision here. Moving on to the main event. This is, the Mac is back, baby. This is what we've all been waiting for. This will be my first ever McGregor fight I'm watching live. So that's really exciting. But I think Holloway's going to win. Every day I've been leaning more and more towards McGregor because his confidence, and he's been looking so good, and he's making me believe that he actually really can do this. But I just feel like it's not realistic to pick him to win. And I know saying that doesn't matter at all because Strickland beat Hamzat and Gaethje beat Ilya and all these other upsets that have been going on with Merab and Pantoja, shit like that. So McGregor could definitely knock out Holloway in the first 2 rounds, but is he going to do that? Is he going to out-grapple Holloway and submit him? Charles Oliveira was the first person to attempt a submission on Holloway since Holloway's debut, I think they said, in that fight. And that's Charles Oliveira, and he couldn't even submit Max for 5 rounds. So McGregor has nowhere near the grappling of Oliveira. He's been out for 5 years. He could do some crazy shit and just knock out Holloway, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think we'll have a very entertaining first 2 rounds, and then round 3, I think Holloway, he'll be landing some body shots and he'll start outboxing McGregor, and he'll start to slow down. And then I think we're going to get a round 4 TKO by Max Holloway. And then I guess McGregor might retire. I don't know. I wanted to see him stick around. The Max Holloway fight is a big fight. But if he wins this, he's probably going to get a title shot, I think. They're going to give him a title shot if he wins this at either lightweight or welterweight. But if he loses, I don't know where they're going to go from there. These are my picks for the UFC 329 card. So I'll just go over them again. I got Costa, Gandra, Basharat, Penis, Cortez, Luke Riley, Adrian Yanez, Gable Stevenson, Robert Whittaker, Bobby Green, Kavanaugh, Bautista, Patty, and Holloway. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed the fights, and I will see you sometime next week.